Oh, hi guys. So welcome back to the kitchen. So I've asked on my Instagram what people wanted to cook, and the ravioli is the thing that people wanted me to cook. So fairly easy recipe, and I've just entered everything in my fitness pal. So for one portion, it goes to 462 calories, about 11 grams of fats, 45 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of protein. So really good. So I'm really excited for this one. I've never tried this one, so it's going to be interesting. So clearly we're going to use my good old cottage cheese. We're going to use about 500 grams of chicken, some onions, some white onions. I got a pack of cheese and spinach ravioli. So this one comes at like 5 grams of fat for 1.5 cup, 70 grams of carbs, and then 20 grams of protein for like, so that really is really good for tons of protein. We've got the sun-dried tomatoes, okay? And then honestly, the sun-dried tomatoes oil, which I've been using a lot because it gives that super nice flavor. So the first, talking real fast. Anyways, the first step of this is actually to get the chicken cooked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the oil of the sun-dried tomatoes. I'm gonna fry the onions for a little bit. Then I'm gonna throw the chicken for like 6-7 minutes till it's ready and cooked. And then once it's done, I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna create the sauce with the cottage cheese that I'm gonna whip. Okay, I'm gonna whip this cottage cheese, chicken broth, the sun-dried tomatoes, and all that stuff. So we're gonna make that together, so to make the sauce, and I'm gonna throw the raviolis in there so it cooks in the sauce, okay? So that's what we're doing. So I've started the stove, and then I'm gonna throw in the oil, and then we're gonna start with the chicken and the onions. Cool. So for the onions, I honestly go by feel. I'm not a super big fan of onions, so I went with about 1/2 of a white onion. If you love onions, go for it. Don't do that at home. So while this is starting to cook, you can start entering your ingredients in MyFitnessPal. You can go ahead and whip your cottage cheese for later. I'm thinking it's gonna be a really fast recipe. So let's see what we can do. That's the thing with onions. I don't really like the taste, but man, does it ever smell good when you cook. So onions are frying, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken. So again, this was like about 2 big chicken breasts. It gave me about 500 grams of chicken. You can add more if you want. I was gonna also add some shrimps in there. That being said, I'm cooking for a friend right now and she doesn't like shrimp. So I'm making sure that I'm not using the shrimps today, but that would be a really good add-on for more protein. Oh, I forgot to mention that I did add some spices on the chicken. I had some chili flakes, some pepper chili flakes, some paprika, salt and pepper. That's like literally what I use all the time because I like it. If you don't like it, don't use it, but I really like that it gives a little spice to it. And salt and pepper, I mean, it's kind of needed on everything. So chicken is cooking for about 6-7 minutes. So we're gonna go with that. While this is going, I'm gonna go ahead and whip my cottage cheese. So what I did here is I have a cup of cottage cheese, and I mixed about 5 tablespoons of heavy cream, coffee cream, because I wanna get a sort of like thicker texture. So again, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna turn out good. Cottage cheese has been my friend lately to add a lot of protein and everything, so we're just gonna... Okay, so chicken's ready. It smells so good. So now it's time to start with the sauce. So the oil from the sun-dried tomato a little bit, okay, and then we're gonna throw... This is about 85 grams of sun-dried tomatoes. I use little jars. I think you can get them from the can. I haven't found the can just yet, so I use the one from the jar because I like the oil to cook. So that's what I'm gonna be using. So I'm gonna... And honestly, I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit just because I really enjoy the smell of this. I feel like sun-dried tomatoes was really popular in the 90s, and I'm really happy that it's making a comeback because it's really good. So I'm gonna throw in the whipped cottage cheese with the cream in there, and I'm gonna throw in the chicken broth. It's about 1 cup. Okay, so let's do that first. Okay, so this looks amazing. So I'm gonna let it, I've really reduced the heat. Okay, so that's one thing with cottage cheese that I've learned. You really have to reduce the heat, otherwise it like, how do you say that in English? It curdles. But I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit, and then I'm gonna throw in the raviolis in the thing, and we're gonna go for about like 10 minutes. So it's funny because also like growing up, I never actually thought about cooking the pasta in the sauce. Like this was never a thing. Grew up, like for me, it was like pasta and the sauce on top, right? So but this has really been really cool. And then the flavor that comes with it is really awesome. So I'm gonna let it like come to a bit of a mini boil, like nothing too crazy, just like it's gonna make some bubbles. And I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna let it go for about 10 minutes, okay? And then about minute 8, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw back the chicken in. And let's go, see what happens. Okay, so the mini bubble happened. Now I've set up a timer for 8 minutes. Gonna clean up in the meantime, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back in about 8 minutes, add the chicken, show you guys what it looks like at the end, and honestly, we're done. So again, this is a really fast recipe, you know, and they're really minimal ingredients, and it's delicious. Okay, so I had put 8 minutes on the clock, and I think it was a little long, so I think the raviolis are looking ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the chicken back. The sauce is a little bit more runny than I would want it, so I think I might add some cheese to try to get it a little bit thicker. But let's see what happens. That looks really good. It is a bit more runny than I would want to. I would want to have more like a creamier sauce. So I do have some skim milk, cheese in my fridge. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a cup, and hopefully it's gonna get things a little bit thicker. So I found this really useful to have some skim milk cheese in the fridge because it gives like some texture to some recipes without adding too much fat to it. So I'm gonna add this to my Fitness Pal. Okay, so it really doesn't change much, right? It ups the fat quite a bit. So it becomes like an 18 gram of fat, and then 46 grams of carbs and 53 grams of protein. So, you know, chances are that's a really big meal. So when I portion it out, I'll see if it does give me 4 portions, maybe it's gonna be 5. So stay tuned to that because that might change the macro count of the recipe. Okay, so honestly, this smells delicious. The sauce is like getting thick. It looks great. So I'm just gonna portion everything now. I'm honestly really excited. I kept a little bit of room today to give a taste to this, so let's go ahead and portion. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up being 5. So let's set this up. Okay, so try to be mindful with how much chicken and how much like ravioli you're putting in to make it sort of equal. And I honestly am super confident that once, I'm making a mess. Once this is like warming it up again, the sauce will be just perfect. So right now, this is giving me about 300 grams. You know what, we're gonna keep it at 4 portions because that's giving us about 430 grams per portion. And if you need to heat it up in 2 of them, and then that's good. But I think 4 portion is perfect. So again, right, to end this thing. So 552 calories per portion, but honestly, it's gonna be filling, it's gonna be amazing. 18 grams of fat, a little bit higher than I would want to, but I think it's because of the way I had to add some cheese at the end. I'm sure there's a way that if I cook it a bit slower, it might be better. And then, but you know what? This is what happens when you try things with higher protein. So 17 grams of fat, 46 grams of carbs, and 53 grams of protein. This is freaking amazing. So pasta that smells delicious. Honestly, I'm gonna have a little bite of one of them, and it smells amazing, tastes amazing, really good. So hopefully you give it a shot and let me know what you think. That's it. Ciao, ciao. Have a good weekend.